Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio, your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Hey everybody, it's Monday. Justin MIRIGLIANI here on why did I lose the show for a second? You as a whole, body, mind, and soul. For a second there, I lost my my train of thought. On USA Global TV and Radio. So welcome everybody. Good to have you here for our Monday night show at 8 o'clock. So tonight we're going to talk about the validity of old adages. Some things that we say that don't make any sense, or that make some sense but don't make total sense and aren't completely 100% accurate. And we use them to try to make ourselves feel better about different things. And by the way, just so we know, that this is the jersey that we'll be wearing for the Checkmates game coming up August 23rd. We're going to have the commercial about it later, but I'm going to start wearing this on the shows just to get everybody used to it. Here's the logo. As best I could get it up there. There we go. So that's coming up pretty soon. And we got a lot of some new players that came in from the NHL. We got Grant Marshall and possibly Christian Hansen. And if you were a fan of this movie Slapshot, you remember the Hansen brothers. Well, this is one of the sons of the Hansen brothers, and great guy, and really fun people. They're not only great hockey players, but they're also fun people to talk to. But getting back to the show, and we'll talk about more about the event later. Getting back to the show, the validity of these old adages. I know people try to tell you these things to make you feel better. And to put a positive spin on things. And I'll be the first to admit that I don't always put a positive spin on everything. There are times where I feel negative and can't really seem to get out of the negative. And it's hard. It's difficult, especially when things are falling down around you. You know, there's a lot going on in my life that is difficult, is hard to accept, some tragic, some uncomfortable, others scary. I mean, there are a lot of things that are going on for me, and I'm sure in a lot of people's lives. Peace has been fleeting for me for quite a while now, and it kind of be nice to get back to it. But one of the adages that people have been bringing to my attention and saying is, if life gives you lemons, what's the rest? Make lemonade, right? If life gives you lemons, make lemonade. You know, on the surface, that seems like a great idea. So I got a lemon here. It's not a real lemon, but it's closest I have, right? Pretend it's a lemon. All right. So I got this lemon in my hand, right? Life gave me this lemon. I got this lemon in my hand. Now, if I grab this lemon and I squeeze it as hard as I can over a cup, over a glass, and squeeze it and squeeze it and squeeze it and squeeze it and squeeze it, what do I have? I have lemon juice. Sour, distasteful, something that nobody would want to drink. Lemon juice. See, there's more to life than what these adages try to say. I get the idea that they're trying to put a positive spin on things, but it's so simplistic that it's not that easy. It's not that simple. Because if you want to make lemonade, you know what else you need? Water. Because there's certainly not enough juice in a lemon or even a few lemons to make lemonade. Very little juice is going to come out of it. Even if you have a juicer, it's not going to give you a whole lot of juice. What else do you need? You need sugar, because otherwise it's just water with lemon in it, and it's going to be sour, and it's not going to be tasteful. It's not going to be something that you're really going to enjoy. I mean, some people like lemon water, but I'm sure they don't like a whole glass of mostly lemon and a little bit of water. Yeah, that's not as satisfying as lemonade. But you need water. If you don't have water, you have lemon juice. And then, of course, you need sugar, right? You got to sweeten it. If you want lemonade, if that's what you want, I mean, if you want lemon water, fine. But if you want lemonade, if life you want life to give you lemonade, you're going to need sugar to make it sweet and get rid of that sour taste so that it tastes good and it's something that you want to drink and it's something that you want to enjoy. So that's just one of so many that adages that we just spout out and say, and as if it were that easy, as if it were that simple. Oh, you got lemons, make lemonade. Okay, fine. But do you have the other stuff? Do you have the sugar? Do you have the water? Do you have access to it? Do you have a cup? Yeah, what if you don't have a glass? What are you gonna do? Just drop it in your mouth? I mean, you're not gonna do that. You have to have a glass. So yeah, I mean, I get it that we try to think of things in simplistic terms and we try to make things as easy as we can. And sometimes we go the opposite route. We make things much harder than they need to be. I get that. But here's one case where that's not always easy to make lemonade. I'm not saying don't try, but I'm certainly saying you're going to need a little more than just lemons if you want to make lemonade. Now, another one that people say a lot, and it's one that is frustrating to me because it shows a lack of, and it's not always on purpose, but it shows a lack of understanding. And that is feed a man a fish, give a man a fish, feed him for a day, teach a man to fish, and feed him for a lifetime. On the surface, that seems like great advice, right? Seems, I don't know what's wrong with that, right? Teaching the fish, great. But what if he doesn't have a pole, a fishing pole? What if he doesn't have a reel? What if he doesn't have a boat? What if he doesn't have access to the water? What if he doesn't have a vehicle to take him to water? What if he doesn't have, I said bait already. What if he didn't have bait? So is it really that simple? If you teach a man to fish, you're going to feed him for a lifetime? Not if he doesn't have the equipment, you're not. You can teach him anything you want. If he doesn't have the equipment, he's not going to be able to feed himself. And that's these adages, these old ideas of, and again, they're meant to try to make people feel more comfortable and not sweat the small stuff and not worry about things and put things in proper perspective. I get that. I understand that. But there are extenuating circumstances that these things just don't take into consideration. And you have to take them into consideration because they're part of the equation. They're not, this is not me and I've had a friend of mine when I talked to him about this, he said, oh, well, who are you to question these adages because they've been around so long, much longer than you've been around. You've been around 50 years and these adages have been around for a long time. Well, does that make them 100% correct? I don't think so. Why can't we question them? Why can't we say, wait a minute, this is not 100% accurate? I think we've seen that in many aspects of life, right? How about 50 years ago when 9 out of 10 doctors agreed that certain cigarette was the best cigarette to smoke? You're going to find a doctor today that's going to tell you to smoke a cigarette and which one is the best one out of all of them. We got older, we evolved, we got smarter in some ways, not in others. but we've gotten to a place where we know that no, there is no safe smoking. It doesn't exist. If you want it to exist in your mind, you can make it exist in your mind, but that doesn't make it reality. And it's the same thing with these additives. Can do you just save them and just go with them at face value? See, I don't. I think about these things. They go through my mind, and I don't know if that's good or bad. To be perfectly honest with you, sometimes I wonder if it would be better, if I would be better off mentally if I didn't think about these things. If they just kind of, I don't want to say like everybody else, because I'm sure there are other people who think the way I do, but a majority of people that I know just go with it because that's what they've learned from the time that they grew up. That life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. Feed a man a fish, feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish, feed him for a lifetime. And that's it. If only life were so simple. It's not that cut and dry, but we try to make it that cut and dry. And I'm not saying to try to make life more difficult than it needs to be, but I think there are realities that have to be faced that we have to look at and say, this is part of the deal. So let's talk about the man fishing, right? I mean, so what are you going to do with? Now, I've been very open about I suffer with depression, anxiety, and OCD, and I have my whole life. I've been very open about that, and this stigma is starting to go away, but there's still stigma with it. It's like, oh, you're mentally ill. Well, there's differences in mental illness. I mean, there's mental illness where it's painful and it's discouraging and it wears you down. And that's the kind of mental illness that I have. And then there's the mental illness where you're dangerous. You do things that are dangerous. I'm not a dangerous person. I mean, last time I got into a physical altercation was when I was 26 and I'm 50, and that was on a hockey rink. So it wasn't like it was a street fight or some kind of me attacking someone. I mean, it's half a lifetime ago. I haven't been involved in any kind of physical interaction like that. And again, it was during a hockey game, and that's to be expected during a hockey game. So no, not all mental illness is the same, but um, we the reality is that some people in my position are so depressed, and I've had family members this way who were so depressed and so down, and so it runs in my family. So I was sitting duck. I mean, somebody in the family was going to wind up getting these maladies. And that the genetics plays a role, and we know that now. We know that because again, we've evolved, and we know that genetics plays a role in depression and other mental illnesses. And I've had family members and friends who couldn't work because they just couldn't cope. A friend of mine was telling me last night about a friend of hers who couldn't leave the house for 9 years and was homebound for 9 years. Now, somebody will look at that person and say, well, they're lazy. They don't want to work. If they would just change their mind, if they would just think differently, if they would just look at the positive. Is it that easy? Is it really that simple? Do you think this person wants to be homebound for 9 years? Or do you think that they wish that they could get over it and get out and be out in the open? Does anybody think that I want to spend my life depressed, that I want to feel down, or that I want to feel lacking confidence or anything like that? And I'm not saying I feel that way 100% of the time, but when you're going through the things I'm going through, you're going through a divorce, you're going through you're trying to afford colleges and all these things that have been going on, the economy hurting your business, and trying to put your life back together at 50 years old. I mean, hey, look, if anybody tells you that that's easy, they're not telling you the truth. None of it's easy. It's all hard. It's all difficult. And I don't care how strong you are, you're not going to be able to just get through it. And you know, people say to me, well, just don't be depressed. Well, all right, well then don't be diabetes, right? If you have diabetes and somebody came out to you and said, well, just don't be diabetes. That's it, you're cured. Just don't be it. That sounds ridiculous. Or don't be cancer. You have cancer. And they come out to you and they say, well, why? Don't be cancer. Is that the answer? Why would that be the answer for depression? Why would that be the answer for anxiety? Just don't be anxious. Just don't be depressed. That's the same thing as saying don't be cancer. That's the same thing as saying don't be diabetes. It's the same thing because it's an illness. It's not like it's an idea that comes into your mind. Nobody wakes up in the morning and goes, gee, I hope I'm depressed today. That would be great. You know, I've talked to people who are in, I've been very, very lucky, and I'm not name dropping. I'm not going to even use any names, but I know a lot of famous people. And there's only one reason why that's happened is because I'm very genuine and I write letters to people who resonate with me. I did have my time on QVC and I got to meet some celebrities there and some of the hosts there. And so I do have access to people that other people might not have access to. And that's part of it's luck, no doubt about it. I mean, you have to get lucky. And the other part of it is hard work, cultivating those relationships, proving that you're genuine. I think they see that come through. And that is what allows the relationship to flourish, is because they see there's a genuine person behind who they're seeing when they're looking at me. And I was talking to some of these people, again, not going to mention names, and these are people who are rich, millionaires, have fame, are adored by people. And sometimes they tell me it's hard to get up in the morning. It's tough to get up, tough to get going. I'm just so down, I'm so empty. You know, professional athletes, you know, there's a high when you're a professional athlete. There's a high when you're an athlete, period. There's a high when I played in high school, and that can never come back. There's no getting that back. So think about a professional athlete. You got thousands, if not millions, of people cheering you on every night. You're out on the ice or on the field or whatever, and then all of a sudden, you know, Father Time takes the hand, and you're done. You know, it's over. It's it, and that goes away, and you're left with maybe a pile of money, but all of that, the feeling of competition, the feeling of camaraderie with your teammates, all those things just kind of disappear. Now, how do you say to that person, well, life's giving you lemons, go make lemonade? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, yeah, try to be positive, try, you know, do what you can, get help if you can. But we look at people that can't work and we say that they're lazy, because mental illness is something that, and we can get deeper into mental illness another time, but I'm just using that as an example where, you know, it's not always that simple for people just to turn a bad situation into something that is wonderful and just great. It doesn't work that way all the time. Sometimes you do have the sugar and you do have the water and you do have the glass and you can make the lemonade. And if that's the case, great, do it. Do it. Or other times, you got the boat, you got the fishing rod, you got the reel, you got the bait, you're ready to go. You got the truck to tow the boat to the water. You go to the water and you fish and you catch a lot of fish. It's great if you can do it. But if you can't, we can't always look at people and say, well, gee, you know, they're lazy, or, you know, they just don't want to. You know, it's a decision that you get to make. You don't always get to make decisions in life. You really don't. You make some decisions in life, but life also kind of has a way of deciding the path for you. Now, whether you believe that's a higher power, or if you believe that's fate, or if you believe that's just random luck, whatever it is, that's what it is to you. But we can't always choose what exactly we want. If we did, we'd get everything we wanted. Another adage that I hear all the time, parents say to kids, and I get trying to instill confidence in kids. I really do. I think that's really important. But there's also too far. And maybe when a kid's 3 or 4 or 5 years old, you could say, you could be anything you want to be, whatever you want to be, you could be. If you want to be an astronaut, if you want to be the president of the United States, if you want to be a football player, if you want to be whatever it is, you can choose whatever you want to be. Well, that's as you get older, that's not true. That really isn't. You can't be whatever you want to be. I wanted to be an NHL hockey player. I did not have the talent to be an NHL hockey player. No matter how much I would practice, no matter how much I would try to be one. And, if you work hard enough, you'll get it and it will happen. It's not the way it works. I hate to be a Debbie Downer, but it's just, that's life. That's the way it is. And yeah, it's hard to accept. There are times that it's difficult to take. And it's like, oh man, and I got to be honest with you. I mean, I like any good parents or grandparents and aunts and uncles that I had said those things to me when I was little. When I was a young kid, 7, 8, 9, 10, you can be whatever you want, just put your mind to it. You can be whatever you want. And then I turned 13, 14, 15, and in reality punched me right in the face. And it said, no, you can't. You're not. This is not going to be you. This is not your path. You want it, but you can't have it. And I don't know how I don't have the answers on how you prepare kids for that feeling, because that was painful. I will never forget my first shift playing hockey in high school, where I thought I went onto the ice thinking I was going to be a really, really superstar player, because I had some success in the sport before. And on the very first shift I got on the ice, I was a rickety skater, didn't realize how rickety of a skater I was. And I got hit really hard and went flying into the boards and really got smashed into the boards. I had to crawl to the bench and get back on the bench. And that one hit, in that one moment, I realized that my hockey dreams were over. That I knew. It's amazing how you could pinpoint some things in your life, like the second that it happens, that that whatever it is either going to happen or not. And that hit told me everything I needed to know. I sat down on that bench. We're talking 10 seconds into my high school career, and I already knew my dream of becoming a professional hockey player had absolutely no chance of happening. None. Zero. At 14 years old, that's tough. I was about to turn 15. And it's like, man, that's wow. You dream about it, you think about it. And yeah, my parents prepared me. They said, look, you're getting older, you're 10, 11, 12. Remember, it's not going to be that easy. And they did that. They tried to, you try that soft, I guess, way of trying to soften the blow or get your kids prepared. That no matter how hard you try, there are millions of other people who are doing the same thing that you are, that may be born more talented or may work harder. Although I honestly don't think many people worked harder. I'm a type A personality in a lot of ways, and I would go out and shoot hockey pucks by myself when friends didn't even want to go outside, and I would shoot by myself for hours and hours and hours. I mean, you could ask some NHL players what they did, and they did the same thing. The difference is they had the talent, I didn't. Also, the difference is they had access to ice, and I didn't. I was on rollerblades, which is not the same thing. It doesn't, it doesn't translate as well. So that's another adage, you can be whatever you want to be. Well, within reason, yeah, within reason. Do I think I could become president of the United States? No, I do not think I could become president of the United States. I think I know that that's not going to happen. Now, could I wish it? Could I work at it? Could I try to rise up in the level of politics if I wanted to? I guess I could. Would I make it up to the position of being president of the United States? No, no. It's a 1 in what 500 million chance, something like that. There's only one president of the United States, and in your lifetime, if you live to be, 80, you could only have maybe 5 or 6 presidents in your lifetime. So out of the whole lifetime, you might have presidents that go 8 years, 8 years, 8 years. You get a maximum of 10 or more presidents, maybe, right? I'm trying to do the math real quick in my head, but it's not that many. It's not like it's be 400 people are going to have the job. So you're not looking at something that's very realistic if you say, well, I'm going to be president of the United States. So you could do anything you want to do. What if I want to fly? I can't fly. There's nothing I can do about that. I can't change that. I can't change that the human body doesn't fly. Yeah, I'm a weightlifter. I would like to bench press as much as possible. My goal is 400 pounds, 405 pounds. I'm not there yet. Will I ever get there? Don't know. That's within the realm of possibility. Now, world record is 750 pounds. Is that in the realm of possibility? Absolutely not. I don't care how much I wish it. I don't care how much I would try for it, or how much food I would eat, or if I quit my job and decided that was going to be my job, is just to lift weights all day and become the greatest power lifter who ever lifted. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen, because you can't be whatever you want to be. These things are all nice at face value, but they're not really true when you peel back the onion. And it does sound pessimistic, but I think what's more pessimistic, or what hurts more, is when you believe these things and then you don't get what you want. And then it's like, well, I thought that was supposed to happen that way. I thought when you had lemons, you can make lemonade, but apparently you can't, because you don't have all the other stuff. I thought when you had learned to fish and you had this knowledge in your head, wow, you're going to be able to go out and fish every day. You'll be able to eat all the time. Well, no, not necessarily. Got to be near water. If you live in the city, where are you going to go? How are you going to do it? Or again, the idea of how many parents say your kid, the sky's the limit. You can make the Olympics. You know how many kids make the Olympics? You're not just the best in your area, or the best in your, let's say it's gymnastics, in your gym. You're the best in your gym. Okay, fine, you're the best in your gym, and then maybe you're the best in the neighborhood, and maybe you're the best in the county, and then maybe you're the best in the state, and maybe you're the best in the region. But there are people all over the world that are doing the same thing. And you're not competing against just people in your neighborhood. You're competing against the world, right? When you look at the Olympics, to make it is very difficult. It's almost impossible. It's not impossible, but it's almost impossible. It's more than 1,000 to 1 shot. It's probably 1,000,000 to 1 shot. It's not likely. And we could say, well, yeah, but if you put your mind to it, no, it doesn't work that way, because these other people are putting their mind to it too. And if they're better, they're better. You can't, I mean, there is the saying, will beat skill. And I think there is some truth to that. I think will can beat skill if the disparity isn't so big that it's just impossible. I mean, so if I play against hockey players that are my age and slightly more skilled than I might be able to outplay them sometimes. But you put me in on a rink with NHL players that are 20 something years old in the prime of their career. I don't care how much will I have. I'm not going to be able to compete with that. I just can't. I couldn't when I was in my 20s. I certainly can't at 50. No. Now, do I like that fact? Does it make me happy that my dream in my life didn't come true? No, of course not. I don't like it. Do I wish if I had a chance to choose to have it another way, would I have chosen that life? Yeah, I would have. I definitely would have. But we don't get those choices. They just don't happen. So I guess the moral of the story is you do the best you can to play the cards you have. And it's not always simple to do that. It sometimes you get a lousy hand. I mean, nobody wanted to hear. I didn't want to hear at 40. Well, first of all, at 27, that you have a chronic illness. I don't want to hear that. I don't want a chronic illness at 27. It's 27. It's supposed to be great time, right? And then at 40, you hear that you're going to need surgery to have your colon removed and you're going to have a permanent ileostomy bag. I wasn't thrilled about that. I mean, it wasn't something that made me real happy. People say, would you have chosen this life if you could go back and do it all over again? Because you help so many people. And look, I'm happy to help people. I really am. I get calls from people all over the world. And I have, again, made some connections with very famous people because of what I've gone through, because of my story. And in some ways, I don't want to say tragic, but people are intrigued by that. I mean, that there's something to that. It's like the morbid thing that we do when we drive by an accident. We always look, right? That's why there's always a traffic jam after a car accident, because people are rubbernecking. They're looking. I mean, it's something you don't want to see, but you got to see, right? You don't want to look at it, but you have to look at it. That's what it's like, and I think that's what it's like for me. People are these celebrities that I talk to. I tell them I have a charity, and I tell them what it's about, and I tell them my story, and then they get intrigued by that, and then and I'm genuine about it. But what I'm saying is, if I could trade that and go and have a normal life and not have these celebrity friends, but have a normal body and normal. And look, having a bag is not as bad as people think it is. I mean, I know people and myself that wanted to die. I said that death would be better than having the bag. The bag is really nothing. It's not that big of a deal. It's covered. Nobody sees it. It's not something that even in intimate moments poses any problem. It's covered up. It's completely, you can shower with it. You can swim. You can play hockey. You can lift weights. I mean, I do all those things. So everything I did before I had the bag, I do now. So nothing's really changed there. But do I feel lucky that I have a bag? No, I don't feel lucky. Do I feel lucky that I had a chronic disease at 27? No, I don't feel lucky. I don't get that. I don't understand that. I don't feel lucky that I'm going through a divorce right now. Not at all. I don't feel lucky. I'm not happy about that. Am I lucky that my business is struggling because the economy's dipping and we're having trouble and one of the first things to get cut is training? No, I'm not happy about that. That's tough to deal with. So, I've heard people, especially one of that really, really sticks out in my mind is Michael J. Fox, who I think is a great guy. I mean, I wish I knew him. I never met him and I probably never will. But Michael J. Fox, would talk about the blessing of Parkinson's disease. I wish I was able to look at it that way. I really do. I really wish I was able to say, wow, inflammatory bowel disease has really been a gift in my life. No, I don't feel that way. I don't feel it's been a gift. And if you ask me if I would if I could go back in time and I had the ability to ask God to change it, and he would grant me that, would I do it? Yeah, I would do it. I'm just being honest. I think we try to make ourselves feel better about things that are difficult, and it's okay that they're difficult. It's okay that they hurt us, and it's okay that we don't like it. I have a friend who just lost a son about 11 weeks ago. Do you think she is not wishing she could turn back the hands of time? Do you think it's a blessing? Do you think she says to herself, well, gee, he lived to be 26, so it's a blessing? Yeah, of course it's a blessing that she had him for 26 years, but it's also a curse that he didn't live to be 86. Pessimism is a thing. It's got a place. So I don't mean to be, again, a Debbie Downer. I don't mean to bring everybody down, but we got to look at these things and ask ourselves, are we really doing ourselves a favor by making these generalizations that all you got to do is just squeeze the lemons. All you got to do is, work hard. All you got to do. No, life is going to step in and life is going to hit you hard. Only thing you can do is fight back and do the best you can. So with that, I'm going to go on to something happier. And yeah, because of the disease, we're going to be doing this hockey game. So we're going to play this commercial about the hockey game, and then we'll wrap up the show.
Hey everybody, I just want to tell you how thankful I am that you came out tonight and helped us out on a very special evening. Crohn's and colitis are terrible diseases, and they affect a lot of people, not only in the Delaware Valley, but all over the world. And hopefully we can find a cure someday.
Nolan here with you at the Checkmates versus the Flyers alumni. We had a great time this afternoon. Game was close, and we're all here for Checkmates Charities, which is the real reason that everybody's here, not only the players, but all the fans that were here. It was a great day, and we're really happy to be here.
It was fun to be out here at Northeast Skate Zone because the Checos were a pretty good team, and so we had a lot of fun with the charity. And it was good because they took it easy on us old guys. So we had a good time. So anytime you can do something for charity, and I know a couple guys on the other team, and just to be on the rink, we all go have fun.
Good times go. I'm either gone in an instant or here till the bitter end. I never know what I got.
I want to thank my family for all that they did to help me get through this, and there's a lot of planning that get done. It has to get done. I want to thank Nick's Roast Beef and Common Avenue for all they've done. Dr. Prieto for saving my life and finding the disease and treating me for so long. And the Flyers organization for all they do to help us raise money every year. So thank you everybody, I appreciate it.
I'll see you when I'm gonna see you.
So come on to www.checkmatescharity.com. Buy your tickets August 23rd. Open bar, NHL celebrity hockey, multiple celebrities there after the game. Just a great time. 2-hour open bar, like I said in the beginning, full buffet. We're going to have a lot of fun. Joe Conklin coming to do comedy. So as I leave you today, I just want to leave on a positive note. If you remember the movie Rocky Balboa, Rocky said, it's not how hard you can hit, it's how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. That's how winning's done. And that's what we got to remember. You got to keep moving forward no matter how hard you get hit. All right. So take the hits, come back next week, and we'll come up with another topic to talk about. That'll be fun. All right. Enjoy your week, everybody. See you next week.
USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents Tracy Cram Perkins, a dementia caregiving survivor teaching how to balance care with peace of mind. #1 resource for dementia caregivers. It's the book Dementia Home Care: How to Prepare Before, During, and After. Over 17,000 copies sold of this must-have guide. And now a testimonial from Tracy Smith.
If I was to describe this book to someone who is going through a similar situation, I would underscore how important it is to have some sort of a tool or a guidebook to help you through certain stages. And there's so many, it's such an unknown topic to the average person. And to have this as a reference is essential. It's going to help you get through it personally, as well as help your loved one manage.
To learn more, go to TracyCramPerkins.com. Tracy Cram Perkins is an award-winning author. She's also the host of Dementia Home Care television show. Watch it here on USA Global TV and Radio.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USA Global TV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dyes. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.